shall continue from where we have stopped. We stopped at question number 19. So we shall proceed from where we had stopped. Figure shows two bulbs B1 and B2. Resistors R and inductor L. When switch S is turned off, both B1 and B2 die out promptly. Both B1 and B2 die out with some delay. B1 dies out promptly, B2 with some delay. B2 dies out promptly, but B1 with some delay. So here, B1 is connected to resistance, B2 is connected to inductance. When switch is closed, current flows through both of them, both will glow bright. Once switch is open, when you open the switch, when you disconnect it, current in the circuit dies out. So B1 immediately dies out. But B2 will have some delay because inductor will oppose the fall of current. So current will still flow for some more time even after the switch is turned off. So B1 dies out promptly, B2 with some delay. So inductor opposes the fall of current in the circuit, but resistor doesn't oppose any such thing. So it must be option C. Yes, we shall move on to next one. An induced EMF is produced when a magnet is plunged into a coil. Strength of induced EMF is independent of strength of the magnet, number of turns of coil, resistivity of the wire of the coil, speed with which magnet is moved. So, when magnet is plunged into coil, induced EMF is produced. This depends on, of course, number of turns in the coil, strength of the magnet. More is the strength of the magnet, more will be the EMF produced, and more rapidly it is moved, there will be more EMF. So these three things will decide the induced EMF, but it doesn't depend on the resistivity of the wire. So it is option C. Resistivity of the wire will not decide this, so it will be independent of resistivity of wire. So it must be option C. Yes, hope you have taken this. Shall move on to next. Question number 22. The induced EMF in a rod of length L translating at a speed V, making an angle theta with length L and perpendicular to magnetic field L is BLV, BLV cos theta, BLV sin theta, BLV tan theta. So it must be motional EMF. You know that motional EMF is BLV sin theta. If angle between L and B is 90, then sin theta becomes 1, it will become BLV. So it must be option C, BLV sin theta. This is also direct question. Yes, hope you have taken this. Shall move on to next. Question number 23. When current I passes through an inductor of self-inductance L, energy stored in it is half Li square. This is stored in the current, voltage, magnetic field, electric field. Yes. See, in the case of inductor, energy stored is half Li square. So energy will be stored in the form of magnetic field. So it is just like energy stored in capacitor half CV square. This will be stored in electric field. So In the same way, energy stored in inductor will be in the form of magnetic field. Yes, hope you have taken this. We shall move on to next. The mutual inductance between two coils depends on medium between the coils, separation between the coils, orientation of two coils, all of the above. Here, mutual inductance depends on medium between the coils, also separation between the two coils, orientation of two coils. So it must be all of the above. So it depends on all the three things. Yes. Hope you have taken this. We'll move to next. In a coil of resistance 10 ohm, the induced current developed by changing magnetic flux through it is shown in figure as a function of time. Magnitude of change in flux through the coil in Weber is. So induced current against time graph is given. We need to find change in flux. See, area under the graph gives you charge. So charge Q will be equal to, this weight is 4, this weight is 0.1. So area under the graph is half into 4 into 0.1, half into base into height. Triangle it is. So this area, that should give you charge. Current into time should give you charge. So this will be 2.2. So Q is equal to 0.2 coulomb. Now we know that induced charge Q is equal to change in flux delta phi divided by R. So change in flux is what you need to find. Should be Q into R. Q is 0.2 coulomb into R is 10. So that should be 2 Weber. That is option B. Yes. Hope you have taken this. So I'll move on to next. Inductance between A and D is 3.66, 9, 0.66, 1. So between A and D, you have to find inductance. So one end of this is connected to A. Other end of this, we'll mark it in blue. This is connected to D. So one end of this 3 Henry is connected to D. Other end is connected to A. Similarly, this one also, one end is connected to A. Other end is connected to D. So what you can notice is all the 3 are connected between A and B. So all are in parallel. So if all are in parallel, the effect will be 1 Henry, just like your resistors. 3 Henry resistors, 3 Henry inductors are connected in parallel. So effect will be 1 Henry. That is option D. Yes, hope you have taken this. Shall move on to next. The north pole of a bar magnet is moved towards a coil along the axis, passing through the center of the coil and perpendicular to plane of the coil. Direction of induced current in the coil when viewed in the direction of motion of the magnet is clockwise, anti-clockwise, no current in the coil, either clockwise or anti-clockwise. So let us say this is the coil. Now north pole of the magnet is moved into it. It is moved towards the coil. So you are observing from here. So this is the direction in which you are observing. Direction of induced current in the coil when viewed in the direction of motion of the magnet. Direction of motion of the magnet is this when you are observing this way. So this is north pole. So according to Lenz's law, it should repel the incoming north pole. So this should become north pole. This will become north pole when direction of current is anti-clockwise. So it must be option B. So Lenz's law says whatever you do, it will oppose. So it must be anti-clockwise. Yes. Hope you have taken this. Shall we move on to next? The mutual inductance of a pair of coils is 0.7 Henry. If current in the primary coil changes from 0.5 ampere to 0 in 0.01 second. Find average induced EMF in secondary coil. 2.5, 12.5, 22.5, 37. So induced EMF E is given by M into di by dt. So mutual inductance given 0.7. di is 0.5 minus 0. Time taken is 0.01 seconds. That is dt. So it should be 0.7 divided by, so 0.5 minus 0 is 0.5, 0.5 divided by 0.01, that will be 50. Yes, here is a printing mistake. This should be 0.75 Henry. So 0.75 into 50 will be 37.5 volt. This should be the case. Next one, two coaxial solenoids are made by winding thin insulated wire over a pipe of cross-sectional area A equals 10 centimeter square and length 20 centimeter. If one of the solenoid has 300 turns and other 400 turns, their mutual inductance is mu naught equals 4 pi into 10 power minus 7 Tesla meter per ampere. You need to find mutual inductance for the pair of coils. So mutual inductance M is given by mu naught N1 N2 into A divided by L. So they are coaxial coils. For coaxial coils, this is the value. So 4 pi into 10 power minus 7. N1 is 300. N2 is 400. Area of cross section is 10 centimeter square. So that is 10 into 10 power minus 4 divided by length is 20 centimeter. That is 0.2. Now simplify it. So pi they have kept as it is. So 2 zeros, 4, 4 plus 1, 5. So 5 zeros. 3 fours are 12. 12 fours are 48. 48 divided by 2. That will be 24 into 10 power minus 1 into 10 power minus 4 into pi. That will be 2.4 pi into 10 power minus 4 Henry. That is option D. Yes. Hope you have taken this. Shall move on to next. In an AC generator, a coil with n turns, all of the same area A and total resistance R, rotates with frequency omega in a magnetic field B. The maximum value of EMF generated in the coil is NABR omega, NAB, NABR, NAB omega. Must be option D, NBA omega. So EMF obtained is of the form E naught into sin omega t, where E naught is equal to NBA omega. This is what you will get. So this is E naught. This is maximum value of EMF. AC power is transmitted from a powerhouse at a high voltage as the rate of transmission is faster at high voltages. It is more economical due to less power loss. Power cannot be transmitted at low voltages, a precaution against theft of transmission lines. Yes. See, AC power is transmitted at high voltages because it is more economical due to less power loss. So power loss in the transmission lines is considerably large at low voltages. At high voltages, power loss will be minimum. That's the reason why it is transmitted at higher voltages. That is option B. Yes. Hope you have taken this. Shall move on to next. With increase in frequency of AC supply, inductive reactance decreases, increases directly with frequency, increases as square of frequency, decreases inversely with frequency. So how does inductive reactance varies with increase in frequency? Inductive reactance is XL, that is given by 2 pi FL. So XL is directly proportional to F. As F increases, XL also increases. So it increases directly with frequency. That is option B. Yes. Hope you have taken this. Shall move on to next. When an AC voltage of 220 volt is applied to the capacitor C, then maximum voltage between the plates is 220 volt. Current is in phase with applied voltage. Charge on the plate is not in phase with applied voltage. Power delivered to the capacitor per cycle is 0. See, when you apply 220 volt voltage, this will be RMS value. So maximum value of voltage will not be 220. So this is wrong. Current is in phase with applied voltage. This is also wrong. It's a capacitive circuit. Current and voltage, they have phase difference of 90 degree. Charge on the plate is not in phase with applied voltage. This is also wrong. Charge will be in phase with applied voltage. Then power delivered to the capacitor per cycle is 0. So this should be correct. That is option D. So that's why power in capacitive circuit or current in capacitive circuit is called wattless current. Hope you have taken this. Shall we move on to next? With increase in frequency of AC supply, impedance of LCR circuit, series circuit, remains constant, increases, decreases, decreases at first, becomes minimum, then increases. See, if you plot the graph of impedance Z versus frequency, what do you get? So you'll get this kind of a graph. It is exactly reverse of your resonance curve. So this is at resonant frequency F0. So if you take current will show this kind of a graph. This is current, this is Z. So when current is maximum, impedance is minimum at resonant frequency. So when you increase frequency, first current increases, reaches maximum and becomes, then goes on decreasing. Whereas impedance first decreases, becomes minimum, then increases. So it is option D. Yes, hope you have taken this. We'll move on to next. In a series resonant circuit having L, C, and R as its element, resonant current is I. Power dissipated in the circuit at resonance is I square R by omega minus 1 by omega C, 0, I square omega L, I square R. Yes. See, at resonance, circuit is pure resistive. So Z should be equal to R. So power dissipated should be equal to I square into R. Should be option D. Yes. Hope you have taken this. Shall we move on to next? A transformer voltage induced in the secondary coil of a transformer is mainly due to varying electric field, varying magnetic field, vibrations of the primary coil, iron core of the transformer. Say transformer works on the principle of mutual induction. So in mutual induction, there will be two coils, primary and secondary. So varying current in the primary coil induces current in the secondary. So varying current in the primary produces time varying magnetic field that produces EMF. So the induced current is due to varying magnetic field produced by primary. So it should be option B. Yes. Hope you have taken this. Shall move on to next. Which of the following statements are correct? If the resonance is less sharp, not only maximum current less, the current is close to resonance for a large range delta omega of frequencies, and the tuning of the circuit will not be good. Less sharp resonance, less is the selectivity of the circuit, or vice versa. If quality factor is large, that is R is low or L is large, circuit is more selective. Options are 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3. Yes. Now let us check each and every statement. If resonance is less sharp, not only maximum current is less, circuit is close to resonance for large range of delta omega frequencies, and tuning of circuit will not be good. See, if I plot the graph of I versus F, so this will be resonance. So this is resonant frequency. If I increase resistance, sharpness of resonance decreases, but resonant frequency remains the same. So resonance occurs at same frequency, but current at resonance will be less. So curve will become more and more flat. So for large range of delta omega frequencies, see, within this band, whatever frequencies occur, so for all of them, the resonance occurs and circuit tuning will be not good. So this is correct. So less sharp the resonance, less is the selectivity of the circuit. So resonance occurs for this frequency also, in between whatever frequencies you take. So it becomes less selective. That is also correct. Now, if quality factor is large, that is R is low, L is large. So quality factor is omega L by R. At resonance, ratio of voltage across inductor to the voltage across resistor at resonance. So it will reduce to omega naught L by R. So if L is large and R is less, then quality factor will be high. If quality factor is high, then sharpness will be high. If sharpness is more, circuit will be more selective. So it must be option D, 1, 2, and 3. All the three statements are correct. Yes. Hope you have taken this. Shall we move on to next? In the given circuit, reading of voltmeter V1 and V2 are 300 volt each. Reading of voltmeter V3 and ammeter A are respectively. Yes. Here diagram given is wrong. So there is a connection here. So V1 is connected across L, V2 is connected across C, V3 is connected across resistor 100 ohm. Out of the circuit, so it is given V1 and V2 are 300. That means VL is equal to VC. It's a series LCR circuit. So XL should be equal to XC. This means circuit is at resonance. So when circuit is at resonance, entire applied voltage appears across resistor. So V3 should be equal to 220 volt. Then current in the circuit should be applied voltage divided by resistance, because circuit is pure resistive circuit. That should be 220 divided by 100. That should be 2.2 ampere. So one of these two options should be wrong. See, B and C both are 222 ampere. So change B to 2.2. So it must be option B. Yes. Hope you have taken this. So we'll move on to next. Determine the RMS value of EMF given by E equals 8 sine omega t plus 6 sine 2 omega t. Yes. We have E equals 8 sine omega t plus 6 sine 2 omega t. That is equal to 8 sine omega t plus sine 2 omega t, expand it, so it will become 12 sine omega t into cos omega t. So you can take 4 common in these two. 2 sine omega t plus, in fact, you can take 4 sine omega t common. It will be 2 plus 3 cos omega t. Yes. So this function cannot be reduced further. So by doing so, we will not get anything. By this, we will not be able to get any information. See here, look at this. This is sine omega t. This is also sine 2 omega t. Both are sine functions. So peak value of this is 8. Peak value of this is 6. They have different frequency. This is double this. So peak value of voltage can be given by root of 8 square plus 6 square. That will be 100. Root 100 is 10. So it should be 10 volt. So this is peak value of voltage. Now we need RMS value. RMS will be peak value divided by root 2. That will be 10 by root 2. That is 5 root 2 volt. That is option A. Hope you have taken this. We'll move on to next. An inductor 0.03 Henry and resistor 0.15 kilo ohm are connected in series to a battery of 15 volt EMF in a circuit shown below. The key K1 has been kept closed for a long time. Then at t is equal to 0, K1 is opened and K2 is closed. At t is equal to 1 millisecond, current in the circuit will be given e power 5 is around 150. You need to find at t is equal to 1 millisecond, what is the current? At t is equal to 0, K1 is opened and K2 is closed. See, it's a LR circuit. Yes. Now at t is equal to 0, I of 0 will be voltage, that is 15 volt, divided by resistance (0.15) into 10 to the power 3. That will be 100 divided by 10 power 3, that is 0.1 ampere. So, and I of infinity will be equal to 0 because there will be no current. So K2 is closed. So I of infinity will be 0. Now I of t should be equal to I of 0 minus I of infinity into e to the power minus t divided by L by R. So this is what you should get. I of 0 is 0.1. So this is formula for LR circuit. L by R is called time constant. So now substitute e to the power t is given 1 millisecond. So this will become e to the power RT by L. So that is equal to 0.1 into e to the power minus R is 0.15 kilo ohm. 0.15 kilo ohm means 150 ohm. Or I'll write it as 0.15 into 10 raised to 3 into t is 1 millisecond. So 10 power minus 3 divided by L is 0.03. So that will turn out to be 0.1 into e to the power minus 5. So that is 0.1 divided by e to the power 5, that is 0.1 by 150. E to the power 5, they have given it as 150. So that should be equal to 1000 into 10 to the power minus 4 divided by 150. That will be 6.7 into 10 power minus 4. That is nothing but 0.67 into 10 power minus 3 ampere. That is option B, 0.67 milliampere. So this should be the answer. Note down this. At the same time, note down homework. Homework is question number 21 to 40 in homework questions. So this completes your EMI and AC. Thank you. Thanks for joining.